Hi, welcome back channel, TrainStation2. Alright, so happy to share that we got first in the first competitions of this Halloween event. I will still call it a Halloween event after all, although it's going to change the name to different, but to me it's still a Halloween event after all. So as usual, EPH starts important, and of course I've shown you in the previous video the start of the event. It was really tough because of the very competitive player that I have in the team. Lucky, I mean, along the way, been picking up quite a fair bit of the extra EVs, all thanks to the mini challenges. So it's relatively important. While you play the challenge itself, there are mini challenges you should be completing. For example, like now, what you should be doing by right now should be sending out dispatches with trains to furthest destination so you can gain more of those mini events. And of course, at this juncture, I'm still third, and I said this is really tough. These competitors are standing ahead of me right now. Because I think at that moment I do not have that sufficient items, so I've been busy really at the start of the event, trying to gather as much as possible in terms of those raw materials, so we can have heaps and heaps of raw materials ready for production in the event factory. So besides the point, I mean, we know that those jobs actually takes 45 seconds. There's no really hurry. So I decided to take my time and do the more important stuff, like I mentioned, building up a inventory of the event items. And that pays off really well. I mean, at this juncture, we are at second. It was really a neck to neck fight until after I crossed a certain stage. Then I think there was a huge EP gap of about 200, 300, and eventually 400. So I know there was a comfortable win. But I said, all thanks to those mini challenges, which comes with extra EPs, and been grabbing those really. The first one, I think we all know that is about upgrading the batch trains, and then gradually the other ones will comes along the way. So just make sure you fulfill those, be it delivery or I think the next one will be upgrading of some electric trains or something like that. So make sure you do that upgrade of that earlier region trains, because those cost very little. So just make sure you do that. All right. So, and of course, while you try to build the inventory of the event items, do not forsake those that is the non-event factory. So you've got to continuously keep on working hard into production of all the other non-event factories, so that when it's being asked upon, sometimes it's really crazy. 3 jobs all ask for non-event items, so you make sure you have those as well. But most of the time they'll be asking a lot of event items which you don't have. So again, it is some kind of algorithm behind the scene that they know that what you don't have, and they just keep on asking to frustrate you, hoping that you spend huge amounts of gems, eventually run it out and spend real money with them. So that's Pixels Federation revenue optimization plan. So by now you should know it's all after money and it's after you. If you are free to play like me, we can ignore them totally. Right? So you can see a huge amount of items they're asking for. At this juncture, I'm already climbed to the top. I know I've already swing the third player out of scope by 100 EP. I need to create a huge gap after all. I spend a huge amount of gems, be saving up by watching videos or through the event rewards, and I'm going to bring in all that tombstone. Right, so that is the hinging on that element, which is the mixing element, which is the tombstones. So if you have lots of those tombstones, you will be the winner. So that is the key to winning. So and of course, at this juncture, there is no conversion. That means that I'm going to save up, and there's no way I can get an expedited plan to get that legendary train. Some events, there's a conversion rate. There will be a special currency you can convert, and with that, definitely you can get the legendary train faster. But in this Halloween event, there isn't any. So just make sure you go ahead and do the cemetery every time, frequently shop it there, and got all the required tombstones, because that is the mixing element in this whole game. So the other two raw materials, just make sure you get sufficient but not too much, because they'll be eating up into your precious warehouse spacing. So probably like 300 and 400 of those should be sufficient, because more importantly is the tombstone that we are after. So just make sure you do that. Unless you have a huge warehouse, then you can ignore my advice totally. So the other thing you're going to really work on is like copper, nails, and saw blades. So these are the three commodities you should be working hard on, especially for saw blades. So make sure you have those iron powder ready, and then just keep on building saw blades. And if you wish to, you can store some of the saw blades under the manufacturing of tables. Like I said, once you cancel the table order, you get back your timber and saw blades. So that's one way to store all the saw blades while you still have that production line creating more saw blades after all. So something to share with you, that's how you do it. And of course, not forgetting, make sure you get those gold, because you need tons of them later on, especially once you get a hang of that first legendary train. You need, I think, 1 million or more for me to upgrade it. So it is a pain, especially with gold parts. That's really a lacking commodity. The other one would be basically the gold itself. All right, so let's check it out at now. You can see managed to finish first, and of course there was a huge gap like I mentioned earlier. So it's about 430 huge gaps, and the third place was about 510 huge gaps. So that's how I managed to get a comfortable win in this first competition, like I said earlier. And now, of course, not going to stop here. I'm really have to work on that mini event, which is currently working really hard upon, which is to send the trains out as much as possible whenever it's necessary, be it collecting of items or for deliveries. Make sure you have those, and not forgetting you can use your union trains as well. Those will add on as well. So make sure you get all this, and definitely then you can get an edge over the others, because what's on the reward is 50 event coin. So that 50 event coin would add on to your objective of getting 1000 event coin for the legendary train we're working hard upon. So just make sure you do your best, but sometimes you may not get the 50, even a 10 or 20, it makes up and it adds up, right? Because you may be getting some from the lucky spin the well. Together we're winning a few of the competitions you may get on your hang on the legendary train by the 4th or 5th competitions. So of course, do save up, do not exchange for any trains with the event keys. You got to save up to 4,000 before you start changing. There will be definitely a mini challenge that entice you to exchange, because that is one of those. That's the one that's very toying and you really have to think hard whether you want to spend that precious keys. But for me, I'm going to just save it and ignore that. Even if I have to lose that competition, so be it, because my target is to get hang of the event trains. And normally there will be a requirement to do the 100 or probably 140, I can't recall, kind of jobs delivery using the legendary train. And after that, there'll be 100 EP jobs available. So probably now is not available and not apparent. After probably we progress further, that special job may be unlocked. So that is something I'm looking forward to. That is also a sign whether we should be saving up for the legendary train. I think the concept shouldn't change, but at this juncture, I've not seen that special job appearing. I'm hoping it will appear eventually, because that is also another key to winning. Because once you get a hang of the legendary trains, the rest is history. You'll be jumping while people are still clawing into getting EP. You'll be jumping with EPs, because with those 100 EP jobs, you just fly, and eventually you create a huge gap like I just tried to create in every competitions. So another thing you really got to work on is to get the nails, as I mentioned earlier. Not forgetting, these are the conversions of materials that you have for the union deliveries, because you know those all this adds up to this mini challenge currently. They call it the high traffic. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Do like and subscribe, and good luck. Goodbye.